Hello, everyone. So, recently I saw the Mario movie, and I thought it was really good. It wasn't perfect, but all in all, it was a really fun movie that I'd definitely watch again. And apparently, I'm not the only one who thinks this, seeing as at the box office, the Mario movie has made over $800 million. And that's just by the time I'm recording this. By the time you're watching this, it's probably past a billion. Because of this, along with a bunch of other evidence, it's pretty clear we're getting a sequel. But personally, I doubt that's all. Of course, Nintendo has a bunch of other popular franchises outside of Mario, and chief amongst them is the Legend of Zelda series. Zelda is my absolute favorite Nintendo franchise, and it'd be great to see a movie based off of it. So, seeing as how popular the Zelda series is, and how Nintendo's now seeing how good these movies can do, I feel like there's a really good chance that we do see a movie based off them. So today, I'm going to see what a potential Zelda movie could possibly look like, and what it would have to do differently from the Mario movie. Also, if you're somehow watching this and you haven't seen the Mario movie already, then there will be spoilers. And with that, let's begin. First off, and probably most importantly, what would a Zelda movie even be about? I think there are a few possibilities. Whereas with the Mario movie, they had very little to go off of, at least in terms of the main series games, Zelda has had a lot of stories in the past. If I had to guess, I'd say that a Zelda movie would probably be based off Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is easily the most iconic in the series, and the story is classic Zelda. It strikes a nice balance between simple and complex, and I feel like this would be really good to translate into movie. While it'd definitely be cool to see a movie based off Majora's Mask, that's almost definitely not going to happen, seeing as Majora's Mask is very different from all the other games. Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword also have really good stories, but I don't think that either one are iconic enough to be a movie. On the opposite end, Breath of the Wild is definitely really iconic, but the story is definitely one of the more lackluster parts of that game. By the time a Zelda movie would come out, I'd assume that Tears of the Kingdom would still be relatively new, so I'm assuming it wouldn't be based off that. They could do a wholly original plot, like they did with the Mario movie, but seeing as they have more to work off, I'm assuming that's not going to be the case. But that's all pretty obvious. And so, let's start talking about what this movie would have to do differently in comparison to the Mario movie. Let's start off with the most important thing, that being the pacing, story, and all that jazz. Now, I thought the Mario movie was a great Mario movie, but as a movie in the grand scheme of things, it's just alright. If you remove all the Mario-themed elements from it, it just sort of falls apart. This can't be the same case with the Zelda movie. Mario is a universally known character. If you ask anyone what he looks like, they'll probably be able to tell you. Most people have probably played a Mario game at some point or another, and that's what makes it okay for the Mario movie to rely on things like references. While Zelda is still really popular, it's not nearly as universal as Mario, and as such, you have to have a lot more substance, otherwise people won't be interested. And that means having an engaging story and interesting characters. Mario movie looked like it was going to have those, but it couldn't because the pacing was so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that now. Outside of the opening in Brooklyn, the entire Mario movie felt like it was blazing fast and just trying to get from one point to another. Great action scenes made up for this, but still, it feels like the characters could have been developed a lot more and the story could have a lot more substance. The Zelda movie would definitely have to slow down and look at the characters more, which I think would be a lot easier. With the Mario movie, there's definitely less to go off of, but with Zelda, there's a lot of developed characters already. Plus, heavy usage on references wouldn't be able to carry the movie like it did the Mario movie, seeing as, again, Zelda is not nearly as universal. But seeing as there's so much to pull from for the plot, I doubt that's going to be much difficulty. All in all, the story part of the movie doesn't really concern me that much. What does concern me is the soundtrack. Not in regards to using music from the game, seeing as they did a really good job with that in the Mario movie, but more so licensed music. People seem to be debating whether or not the licensed music was good or bad in the Mario movie, but I thought it was just fine. It didn't really take away from the movie or add to it very much. However, you cannot, in any capacity, have licensed music in Zelda. Mario is a very versatile idea, you can do pretty much anything with him. With Zelda, you pretty much have to stay in that fairy tale aesthetic. And without it, it wouldn't really work as well. Like AC/DC in a Mario movie, sure, AC/DC in Zelda would take me completely out of it. A smaller concern I have is that they're going to try and recreate the popularity of the song Peaches by making a song be sung by Ganondorf, which really wouldn't fit his character. But again, that's a lot less of a concern. Outside of those two things, there would probably be a lot of music from the games, kind of like the Mario movie. In which case, that would be really welcome, if only the Sonic movies could have as much game music. In regards to art style, while I do think the movie would work best with a 2D art style or something kind of like The Last Wish, that's probably not going to happen. I mean, this is Illumination we're talking about here. They make boring art styles for breakfast. I mean, a standard 3D art style wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, it'd just feel like it's being held back. And the last major thing I wanted to talk about was casting. Overall, I thought the cast for the Mario movie did a really good job, although it still kind of felt like Nintendo was hiring names for some of them. There's no doubt that a lot of voice actors would be really popular already, but if we're lucky, it'll end up like the Mario movie, where a lot of the actors just fit the roles. I'm not very knowledgeable on voice actors and actors in general, so I wouldn't really be able to make any predictions, but if you have any ideas on who could be cast, please feel free to let me know in the comments. But it would be pretty great if Jim Carrey was cast as Tingle. And with that, that is what I think a Zelda movie could, and in my opinion should, look like. I'm pretty certain that at some point a Zelda movie will come out, though it's probably not going to be announced until at least a year after Tears of the Kingdom comes out. And hey, who knows what other Nintendo properties could turn into movies in the future. Maybe Metroid, maybe even Kirby. But that is all I have to say. If you liked the video, please be sure to like. If you have something you want to say, please be sure to comment. And with that, I will see you in the next one.